I am Awesome Joe, and thank you very much for taking in the time of your day to watching Awesome Joe's playback-to-back movie reviews. And today we're going to be reviewing one very specific film, one that everybody has been so anticipated to see throughout this whole entire 10-year journey of the MCU, Marvel itself, Avengers: Infinity War. And another great thing is that I'm so happy that because this is the start of the summer movie season, and I love summer movies. Summer movies are the best out of the whole entire year. And also a great thing about this video is that not only is it a review towards the Infinity War movie, it's also going to be a spoilers review. And the way I'm looking at it right now is that since this movie is so built up with so many different characters, it's very complicated in having to review this whole entire movie with every single character involved. So the way I look at it is that this movie is not really just about the Avengers. It's practically very much about the character Thanos. And Thanos has been a great tease ever since the ending of the first Avengers movie back in 2012. And the reason why I wanted to go ahead and throw out this spoilers review right now, and the reason why I take a little bit too long, is because I wanted to go ahead and give everybody the chance to go out and take the opportunity of watching this awesome movie out in theaters. And I just don't want to spoil it for anybody. So for everyone that's watching this video, I really do hope that you guys did take the chance to go out and watch this movie. If not, then go ahead and stop this video, go watch the flick, and then come back and see what I gotta say, and then you can go ahead and post on the comment section in the bottom as to what you guys thought about the film. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this, because this is the spoilers review for Marvel's Infinity War. So the way I look at it right now is that this movie is so jam-packed, filled with different characters played by so many actors and actresses, and it's directed by Joe and Anthony Russo, the original directors towards Captain America: The Winter Soldier and Captain America: Civil War. And by far that I know of, when it comes to these two directors, they do an awesome job, especially within the MCU. And those two movies are just so awesome. It gives you the credit. It gives them the credibility to having to go watch this movie and knowing that you are going to be leaving this movie fully satisfied. And it stars this huge, gigantic cast of actors: Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Josh Brolin, Benedict Cumberbatch, Tom Holland, Chadwick Boseman, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, Don Cheadle, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Karen Gillan, Tom Hiddleston, Pom Clemente, Benedict Wong, Idris Elba, Benicio del Toro, and Gwyneth Paltrow. So it's really huge. It's a lot of fun. It's a great movie. If you guys are not familiar with the MCU, it's 10 years in the making. This is the 19th MCU movie and the third Avengers movie. And from the beginning, when they announced this movie, it was announced to become a two-parter movie. This was supposed to be the first part, and then the second one was supposed to come out a year from now. But apparently they changed the whole thing. It wasn't going to be a part 1 and part 2 anymore. They changed it to where it was just only going to be Avengers: Infinity War and whatever Avengers 4 is going to be entitled with. Unfortunately, we don't have the announcement for that movie yet, but we will be soon, and I'm really excited to see what that one is going to be all about. But the way I look at it is, when I saw this movie all the way through from the beginning to the end, I can already tell that this is a first part to a two-part film, regardless of what the productions of this movie says. So I was really excited for this movie. Like, I've never been so excited for a movie, especially in a long time. And I think that the actor Josh Brolin playing Thanos did an amazing job. You would think that having to play a villain, he would be this super badass, this super baddie who do whatever it takes to do what he has to do, which in cases he does. But he's also a sentimental character who has a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings. He does have a past. He's the character who lived on this planet where the majority of his entire planet went through an extinction throughout starvation and a high population on his planet. So the way that he's trying to do is that he's going to planet, destroying half of the population, so that way he can save other planets from what he went through, from what his planet went through. So, and he really wants to go ahead and succeed in fulfilling his mission by collecting all of these 6 Infinity Stones that we've been introduced throughout the whole entire MCU franchise, well, except one, which is the Soul Stone, which I'll get to in a little bit here. And then, of course, with the Infinity Gauntlet to collect them all into the glove itself. And so at the beginning of the movie, we can see that it takes off right after, at the ending of Thor Ragnarok. You know, Thanos is approaching the Asgardian ship, and from what was told is that half of the Asgardians were killed off, and the other half of the other Asgardians escaped. So we don't know what happened to the other half, but you know, maybe we'll find out sometime in the future or in the next Avengers movie. And Thanos kills off Loki finally, and he kills off Heimdall, Idris Elba's character, and Hulk gets his butt kicked and is sent off to Earth to warn all the other Avengers that Thanos is coming, and he's going out to collect these Infinity Stones. So characters like the Vision needs to be protected, and finding out a way on how to remove that stone, which is what brings them all the way towards Wakanda. And the big battle of Wakanda, so freaking awesome. It's so great. And with the Asgardian ship being destroyed, leaving only Thor alive out in space to die, the Guardians of the Galaxy run into him through a distress call and pick him up. And Thor, the connections between Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy was a tremendously well done, good part of the film. It was a great part for these characters to finally meet and have a great time together. It was a lot of fun, very funny parts. So what Thor is going to be doing is that he's exacting revenge towards the destruction of his people. So he's going to go off to the place where his hammer was first made to create a new weapon called the Stormbreaker to defeat Thanos. And so that's what he's going to go do, and Rocket and Groot happen to go ahead and join him on his journey. And then we got Robert Downey Jr. Plays Iron Man, as we all know, meets up with Doctor Strange and Bruce Banner. And Bruce Banner is pretty much throughout the whole entire film not the Hulk. The Hulk is pretty much hiding himself within Bruce Banner because he's terrified to come out because he got defeated and he doesn't want to come out. And we don't know if we'll be seeing the Hulk anytime soon. So maybe until the next Avengers movie. So we'll see what happens there. But the capture of Doctor Strange, because he has the Time Stone with him, is taken out into space, and Iron Man and Spider-Man happen to join onto the ride out into space, onto the planet Titan, and meet up with Thanos. The great battle with Thanos on that planet was tremendously awesome, along with the Wakanda battle. And leading up to the Soul Stone here, the one stone that nobody knew about as to where its location was at, is put on a planet to where Thanos happens to take Gamora to, one of the Guardians of the Galaxy, his stepdaughter. And we happen to meet up with a character that we have not seen in a long while, a very questionable character as to whether we're going to be seeing this guy again or not, is the Red Skull himself. Not played by Hugo Weaving, but played by a different actor. I forgot his name, but he does appear within the Walking Dead TV series, and I think that he did a tremendous job doing an impersonation of Hugo Weaving, even though we don't know, it's not him. So, and I love on how this describes as to how the Soul Stone is going to be collected, which is you have to trade a soul for another soul. And Gamora sees that Thanos is crying. That's where he becomes his very sentimental character, and he happens to love Gamora so much, even though he has no love for anyone else within the universe. He sacrifices his only lovable daughter, dragging her off the cliff to collect the Soul Stone for himself. And it's a very sad, emotional scene within the movie. And I love Gamora. She's a very lovable character. She's a great character to the franchise. And it was very sad to see her death. So, and very interesting about this movie is that since Doctor Strange does have possession of the Time Stone. He's in a motion of meditation in one scene, and he looks within the future and sees 14 million different outcomes, and one of them happens to be to where the Avengers win. So after the whole battle with Thanos on the planet Titan, Tony Stark gets wounded, and Doctor Strange happens to go ahead and put the Time Stone on the line here by sacrificing it to give it to Thanos to spare Iron Man's life. And Iron Man is very confused as to why, but of course Doctor Strange says, you know what, we're at the end game now. There was no other way. He had to do what he had to do. So I'm very sure that everything that Doctor Strange is doing is because he has certain reasons, and I believe that Iron Man has a very huger part within the fourth film of the Avengers movie. So since Thanos did collect the Time Stone, now he only had one stone left, which is he's going to be collecting the Mind Stone back in Wakanda on Earth. And immediately he just goes from Titan to Earth, and all the Avengers go against them. But of course, none of them equal up to his match, except for a little bit of Captain America. You know, you saw in the trailer, you know, he grabs the gauntlet and just tries to hold him back, but no, it was not enough. And the Scarlet Witch, which is, of course, Scarlet Witch and Vision are pretty much lovebirds in this movie. Scarlet Witch has no other choice but to sacrifice the love of her life and killing him off by destroying that Mind Stone, which is the source of Vision's power. So she does destroy Vision, but since Thanos now has possession of the Time Stone, he immediately goes ahead and reverses time a couple of minutes ago back to where Vision is back alive, retrieves the Mind Stone, kills Vision off, and completes his gauntlet. And before he does anything, while he has the completion of his gauntlet, Thor comes in with his Stormbreaker and kills, well, not kills, but he does slash at Thanos, and is about, you would think that the Avengers finally did win, but this greatest line of him saying, you should have went for the head, because right away he just snaps his fingers and this huge boom comes out, everything goes dark, and we go to all the Avengers. They're starting to fade away. You know, the ones that did fade away were pretty much what was it? I think it was Bucky that died, and then yeah, it was Bucky that died. We got Falcon, Wanda, the Black Panther, Groot, Mantis, Star-Lord, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man. And the ones that were left alive were pretty much the core team of the Avengers, which was Captain America, Black Widow, Thor, Rocket, War Machine, Hulk, Nebula, and Tony Stark. So, and it was a very emotional scene for especially two of the characters, which was Black Panther, and because he was a very lovable character and a very awesome movie of the movie Black Panther, and Spider-Man. The way Tom Holland just played on how much he was terrified, he was scared of dying. He just did that amazingly well. I mean, it was a very emotional scene, even though we know, because Marvel does have a habit of killing off their characters and bringing them back in the next movie. That's how I felt is at first, which was, we're gonna see them again, they're gonna come back, but we don't know how, but you still feel that sudden sadness for them, about all these characters that you've grown to love within the last 10 years, all of a sudden fading away into ashes. And so Thanos has completed his mission for the first time ever. I think that it's done before, but it hasn't captured the awesomeness that they did in Infinity War, where the bad guy finally wins and the good guys lose. And so Thanos, he disappears, he goes into this place, I don't know where he's at, but he's at a cabin, he sees the sunrise, and he's just sitting there and he's just smiling with relief that he's finally completed this mission, and everything just fades to black. And we get the credits, which was very sad, you know, having to see all these characters fade away, pretty much die, is just tragic. And at the end credit scene, we only get one this time, where we see Sam Jackson and playing Nick Fury, and Maria Hill. You know, everybody's starting to fade away, cars are crashing, helicopters are throwing themselves into buildings. and all of a sudden Maria Hill disappears, and then Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, goes to the back of his car, he grabs a pager, he presses it, and then he starts to fade away. Then the pager falls onto the floor, and all we see is sending, and then the Captain Marvel symbol pops up, and it gives us a little bit of a tease to the Captain Marvel movie that will be released next year in March, and with her appearance in the Avengers 4 movie. Now, we don't know how all this is going to be put together, but I'm very, very sure that it's going to be amazing. And people would ask, where's Hawkeye? Where's Ant-Man and the Wasp? Well, Ant-Man and the Wasp, of course, they have their own movie coming out in July. So there probably might be an explanation as to why they weren't in the movie and as to why they will be in the fourth movie. And then Hawkeye has been announced to be a very huge part of the next Avengers movie. So we'll see him in the next Avengers film. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how these characters are going to be like in the next movie, but I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm very much to finding out what the title is going to be. And critics on Rotten Tomatoes wasn't really too fond of this movie, as most audiences did enjoy this film by giving it an 84%. But me, on the other hand, I enjoyed this movie very highly enough to give it a 95%. It's an awesome movie. Had a lot of fun with it. I already saw it twice, and I'm willing to go and watch it another 2 more times, probably even more, because it is a great movie. It's that good. So good that, you know, I bought a movie poster, I bought the cup, really great, awesome cup. I bought this t-shirt on Amazon, really cheap price. So it's a great experience. If you guys haven't watched Avengers Infinity War, go and watch it, and let's have an awesome conversation about it. But yep, that's my review, my spoilers review for Avengers Infinity War. So I'm Awesome Joe, and as always, stay awesome. Thank you guys so much for taking in the time to watch my video. You guys are so awesome, and I will see you guys in the next video, okay? So thank you guys so much, and stay awesome. Bye.